Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
Keep that energy going. It's 8:07, and your day's getting started the right way here on O'Connor and Company. Thanks for tuning in and joining me, Larry O'Connor, and she, Julie Gunlock, and all her bananas. Now, and if you don't know that reference, it's because you don't listen to the whole show, and you should download our podcast everywhere you get podcasts. Coming up in 30 minutes, Congressman Andy Harris of Maryland, chair of the Freedom Caucus, will give us his perspective on the government funding crisis that could lead to a partial government shutdown at midnight tonight. That's coming up. Right now, though, Julie, let's welcome Jonathan Schanzer, Executive Director of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Mr. Schanzer, always good to speak with you. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
I don't know what the biggest story is coming out of this meeting between Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump yesterday. The president's 20-point Gaza peace plan that involves the release of all hostages or remains of hostages, Hamas surrendering, disarming, getting out of the area, and then a new terror-free zone set up in Gaza and the rebuilding of Gaza. That's a big deal. But I was astounded by the coalition of Arab nations who immediately embraced this plan. That, I think, sort of could be the game changer here. Hamas is further isolated here from the rest of the Arab world, aren't they?
They are, and I think it was a good sort of jujitsu type of a move that just occurred. I mean, for the last couple of months, the pressure has been on Israel to just simply stop the war. What I think Donald Trump and Bibi were able to do yesterday was to basically say, look, stopping the war all makes sense, but here are the conditions. And now those conditions all hinge on Hamas doing the right thing. And the Arab world, you're absolutely right. You see all these countries signing on. What I think is really interesting is, the Israelis, they carried out that attack a couple of weeks ago on an apartment filled with Hamas guys in Doha, in Qatar. And I think they took a lot of heat for it. There was a lot of criticism. But I will just tell you this. Everybody that I've talked to in the Arabian Gulf, they're all saying the same thing. We don't want the war coming to us. We want this thing over. The fact that it encroached upon the Persian Gulf made them very nervous, and they want this war to end. And so even though Israel may have missed its mark when they were targeting those Hamas guys, I think the end result has actually been quite positive.
This all, of course, hinges on Hamas actually agreeing to this. Who's talking to Hamas, and who is it in Hamas who's doing this negotiating?
Well, that's the kind of the really interesting question. It's apparently some of those guys that Israel tried to hit a couple of weeks ago, and we know that there are a couple of names out there that, we think these individuals survived. We've not yet seen them. They've not actually shown proof of life. Only one guy has come out and shown his face since that purportedly failed attack. But they're the ones who are doing, I guess, most of the discussing. There's a couple of leaders on the ground in Gaza, but we're not even sure if they're in contact with the political figures in Doha. The Qataris are big here. The Turks are big here. I think the Iranians are looming in the background. But that's really the big challenge, if you ask me, trying to get all of these actors. You got the Qataris, the Turks, the Iranians, Hamas, and Israel, all to agree to the same ceasefire. That seems like the big lift here, and we'll find out in the next couple of days whether Donald Trump prevails.
And if Hamas decides that they're just going to go down with their arms, with their hostages, they're going to keep fighting, is it finally time? Does Prime Minister Netanyahu, after this extraordinary plan and the agreement or support of the Arab world, does he now finally have the green light to just sort of finish this? If they don't accept this, they have to be destroyed. That's the only way you reach an end to this. Hamas has got to be destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, look, that is the green light that I think Trump gave him. I think Trump, by the way, probably gave him the same green light months ago. But I think the difference is that Israel wasn't faced with this just onslaught of international condemnation. What I think, again, Trump has done is it's a bit of a jiu-jitsu, kind of a wrestling move here where the center of gravity has shifted, whereas Israel was taking a lot of heat for not ending the war, for not just finishing things off. What Trump has done is said, look, this is a very reasonable way to end this war. everybody, walks away with their pride intact, maybe with the exception of Hamas. But even then, they're not crushed on the battlefield. They're basically saying we're going to leave to allow Gaza to be rebuilt. This all makes a lot of sense. I'm glad to see that Netanyahu and Trump have gotten to this point. But yeah, I think we've got a lot of concerns. If Hamas decides it's martyrdom time, then yeah, what we're looking at is a brutal war that will end in just the crushing of whatever is left of Gaza.
Well, and of course, Jonathan Schanzer is our guest executive director of Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Mr. Schanzer, if that happens, and I think everybody prays it doesn't, but Hamas is not reasonable. They're not rational. They do have a martyr complex. As they often remind the world, they love death more than we love life. So given that, what happens with Western nations like the United Kingdom and France and Canada and other, Belgium and the EU, who are all terrified of the people waving Palestinian flags in their streets that they've allowed into their country without any sort of control or regulation? If Hamas goes down in that bloody fight, these countries are suddenly going to take their side in all of this. They already have taken their side in all of this, which is unthinkable in a post-October 7th world.
It is unthinkable, and yet this is exactly what's happened. And you see it's the Brits, but it's also the Australians, the Canadians, the French. Portugal. Spain has been, very vocal. Ireland. It's really remarkable.
What the heck?
Yeah, all of it is sort of bizarre, right? To see these guys choose the side essentially of Hamas. Now, they're not saying that they're choosing the side of Hamas. They're just saying no more war. But it's pretty easy to say that from the cheap seats, right? These European countries don't have a terrorist organization on their border that killed 1,200 people. And the Israelis, of course, too. And the Israelis have to make tough choices. And I think what you heard from Netanyahu at the UN the other day is that he is not going to cower in the face of this challenge, that Israeli security will actually prevail over the diplomatic concerns that are stemming from this onslaught that Israel has been getting from the Western countries. But I do think Trump has given him a little bit of cover. Netanyahu now has a little bit more cover. That doesn't mean that he has a complete green light to do whatever he wants in Gaza. But I think now people are going to be pointing the finger at Hamas rather than Israel for being the obstacle here. And I do think that diplomatically, that actually helps the Israelis. It doesn't solve for everything, but it definitely gives them a little bit more breathing room right now after a pretty rough couple of months.
I think we got to leave it there, but thank you for that informed explanation as to where things stand right now. And I guess we, along with the rest of the world, will wait and see. But sadly, I don't know if our expectations are very high for Hamas, considering who they are and what their track record is.
No, you're right to be realistic. You're right to be realistic.
Yeah. Who was it that said they never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity?
Yeah, that was Abba Eban, the former ambassador to the UN. That's what he said about the Palestinians, and boys, it still hold today.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
We are hearing chatter out amongst some of the groups that we follow out in Loudoun County. These are parents groups who track the various proclamations coming out of Loudoun County Public Schools, and we've seen screenshots of letters that we're told were sent out to parents at Loudoun County elementary schools, letting them know that as of tomorrow, October 1st, Loudoun County schools will be celebrating LGBTQ plus History Month.
These are 5-year-olds.
I thought they had like the Pride Month thing in June, and that was how many months actually do they get?
They get like it's every other day. Honestly, every other day is Gay Day. Seriously,
every day is Gay Day.
Every day is Gay Day. We all are required to watch an hour of Don Lemon.
This is a communication, the screenshot from a letter that we're told was sent out to parents in elementary schools. October 1st, LGBTQ plus History Month. This year, LCPS has proclaimed October as LGBTQ plus History Month. It's a time to celebrate the history and achievements of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community. It's those plus people that I'm very concerned about, but we'll get to that in a minute. It's also a chance to learn about how LGBTQ plus people have fought for equality and acceptance. We celebrate October because it's when important events happen.
And people dress up.
There's also a special day on October 11th called National Coming Out Day. Again, this is for elementary kids. So 10-year-olds are learning how to come out
elementary,
on October 11th.
Elementary, Larry, you put your 5-year-olds in kindergarten. So it's like 5 to 10-year-olds. So starts younger.
5 to 10-year-olds. Mm-hmm. So a special day called National Coming Out Day to celebrate being yourself. Is that really what you're celebrating?
No.
Mm-mm. Is that really what you're celebrating?
Be anything
being
but
yourself?
Choose what you want to be. If you want to be a cat, be a cat.
During this month, we learn about LGBTQ plus history, the challenges they faced. I'm shocked they didn't say we. And the progress they've made. We also show our support by wearing purple on Spirit Day, October 20th. Good Lord. Mm-hmm. It's important to understand and respect everyone, no matter who they love. LGBTQ plus History Month helps us learn more about diversity and inclusion. If you're looking for more resources, you might consider, here you go. And then there's a link to the Human Rights Campaign Parenting Resources.
There you
and
go.
the Trevor Project's Research and Resource Center and the Loudoun Pride website for LGBTQ plus events near you. There's also a proclamation here that will be April Chandler, Loudoun School Board Representative for Algonquin District, will present Superintendent Spence's proclamation for LGBTQ plus History Month at tomorrow's board meeting. This is Loudoun County.
Yep. And this is why you
County.
should get your kids out of those
We're
schools.
told that letter that I was just reading to you was sent out from Henrietta Lacks Elementary School to the parents at that elementary school. So we're still waiting for confirmation from Loudoun County Public Schools, which, of course, they're loath to give
by the
because
way,
they know we're actually going to pay attention to what they do with our tax dollars.
Yeah, and by the way, there's no opting out of this, right? This is a license for activist teachers to decorate their classrooms with all sorts of trans flags and pride flags and all sorts of signage that introduce these very confusing concepts to kids at a very young age. That's what they want to do. They literally want to influence children into, it's like, it's this introduction of these concepts and social transitioning them at a very young age, so that when they're a little bit older, they will seek medical interventions, they will seek surgeries. This is where it starts. It's sickening that they are introducing these concepts at this young age. I don't want sex talked about, period, in my 5-year-old's classroom. Period.
Let alone sex that goes contrary to your values and principles and religious faith. Also, again, if literacy rates were, 100% and math scores were topping the charts, then maybe we'd entertain talking about some other things you can introduce in the classroom. But maybe they should get that stuff right first. And can I just point out, I don't know if you've noticed this, children in the schools, as they're celebrating LGBTQ plus History Month and Coming Out Day and Spirit Day and all of these things linked with the gay agenda and the gay lobby, in March or April, they don't get Easter. They get spring break. In December, they don't get Christmas. They get winter break. So we're not allowed to acknowledge Christmas or Easter, but we get LGBTQ plus and Coming Out Day.
I want to say also this, obviously they're having this LGBTQ History Month because June is when school's on break. So, they missed the opportunity to shove it down a 5-year-old's throat here. But I will tell you, it's not just these, moments where we're going to celebrate it like History Month or whatever. I have been shown worksheets that have come home in the Alexandria City Public Schools, and I know this is happening in Fairfax. I know it's happening in Loudoun and Prince William County and Falls Church and Arlington. It's like an English class, And, you have to diagram a sentence, which frankly, I don't think they're even doing diagramming sentences in these public schools, but let's just pretend, okay? The sentence has a political message, okay? The sentence might have some sort of social transitioning message, right? Like sex is a social construct, or, you can be whatever gender you want to be. So this stuff isn't just at these moments. It's in the curriculum throughout.
Apparently, a parent complained to the principal at Henrietta Lacks Elementary School about this newsletter she received. I want just to give, equal time here. The principal's response was, thanks for sharing your concerns. The resources shared in the newsletter are for families to use and reference as needed. The students do not see the newsletter unless families decide to review it with them. We do not review or reference anything directly in school. In school, we remind students to show respect, be responsible, be ready to learn, and be kind to everyone. There's no mention of anything specific beyond that in the classrooms. Yeah, that's what they say. Parents... exactly. Be on top of it. And because we know during the pandemic when they turned on the cameras, we saw and heard everything that goes on in the classroom. And there's a reason why they don't want those cameras on anymore. It's 8:23.
Coming up, we'll talk to Maryland Rep. Andy Harris on the government shutdown. Keep it here. It's 8:30.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:37 here on O'Connor and Company. In 30 minutes, we'll hand it off to Christopher Plant. But in the meantime, Julie Gunlock and I, we have a thing or two that we want to get off our chest. Are you ready, Julie?
I'm ready.
Coming up in a couple of minutes, by the way, we are going to revisit Banana Gate, right? No. Discuss bananas. Oh, and an asteroid coming to destroy all of us, which is
good.
Excellent.
Well, it's time.
In the meantime, though, let's welcome Andy Harris, Congressman Andy Harris of Maryland, chairman of the House Freedom Caucus. And, well, I guess the clock's ticking here, Congressman Harris, because Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries refused to do what they've already done, 13, 14 times in signing on to a clean continuing resolution so that further discussions can go on about the budgets. Instead, they seem to be trying to hold you hostage. How's that going to work out for them?
Well, I don't know. It depends on how the American people view this. They should view it exactly the way you suggested, which is that, Chuck Schumer's already done this 13, 14 times already. This is the exact same play. And now he's changing the rules to spend $1.5 trillion more over the next 10 years. This is just, again, it's uncalled for, it's unprecedented, and I hope the Democrats come to their sense tonight when they vote again.
Do they have an exit strategy here if they do sort of hold the line and decide? Because I hear this from the Democrats all the time, the analysts on cable news. It's like, we just want the Democrats to fight. Fighting is not a virtue or a principle if you don't have a strategy or a plan for victory. So if they're just going to fight and they're going to force this, so-called government shutdown here, how do they get out of it exactly? What does victory look like for them? Because I don't see how things stack up properly for it.
Well, I don't know. But what's interesting is the reports were that yesterday Chuck Schumer was floating a 7 or 10 day short-term CR, and unfortunately, it got into the news cycle, and then he said, he took that off the table. But apparently, he knows that shutting the government down is going to be blamed on the Democrats because they're the ones who hold the cards now. If Chuck Schumer and 6 of his colleagues choose to keep the government open, it will stay open. If they choose to shut it down, it will shut down.
There's some races that we're concerned about, particularly Winsome Sears in Virginia. There was DOJ, there's other federal cuts, and now this. There's some worry that this could hurt her race. Do you worry about, members in the area around Washington, D.C. being hurt by this, particularly Republicans?
I mean, it certainly could affect it, but I don't think greatly. The bottom line is, I think Ms. Spanberger has more to worry about what happened at the Naval Academy than a shutdown. I think that there are other things that are going to affect that race a whole lot more.
I think that's your other colleague, Mickey Sherrill, who's running in New Jersey, that's facing that issue. But I understand how it's confusing. They're sort of cut from the same cloth, those two. Congressman Harris, what is your concern with regard to the impact of Marylanders who work for the federal government or who are contractors and work tangentially with the government or at the behest of the government, how they might be impacted?
Well, I think they all should be contacting their two senators and ask them to vote to, keep the government open past midnight tonight. The bottom line is that there's a lot to lose for them. I think that this shutdown will be very different. I think Russ Vought made it clear that there will be layoffs involved, not just furloughs, not just going home and getting paid later, but actually getting laid off and never getting paid with this shutdown. So I suggest the federal workers in Maryland should be calling their senators, and in Virginia should be calling their senators and ask them to vote to keep the government open today.
We've talked about this earlier in the program. So Director of OMB, Russ Vought, has basically said if this happens, you're giving us the green light to basically lay off federal employees. When the government's refunded, we can rehire, but we get to choose who we want to rehire or not. And some people, Congressman Harris, are sort of seeing this as a way to reconstitute the permanent political class and bureaucracy in this town. So many people joined the federal workforce under Obama, and even going back to Clinton, never left, and they brought their politics and ideology with them. They're hooked up with the federal unions, the federal employees unions. I mean, do you support Russ Vought's idea or prospect of basically cleaning house here, taking advantage of this opportunity of a government shutdown that the Democrats are forcing and saying, okay, that's the way you want it. We're going to clean house and we'll rehire and we'll bring in people who are not locked in with this political agenda.
That's absolutely right. And I think that the Democrats are giving him that opening. And again, the difference is that when they are laid off, even if they if they choose to rehire them, they will not get back pay for this. So this is going to be very different. This will play into the hands of, Russ Vought and the Trump administration, who do want to take a good, hard look at the bureaucracy, who's populating the bureaucracy, what's being done in that bureaucracy, and this is their chance to change it permanently.
Right. Since you're pretty plugged in on Maryland politics, I always like to take an opportunity to check if you've heard, now that Wes Moore has officially announced he's running for re-election, what's it looking like on the Republican side of the ledger? What potential candidates are you evaluating right now for that governor's race against Moore?
Well, we have 4 months until the filing deadline, a little more than 4 months, actually. So there's plenty of time for people with significant name recognition like Larry Hogan, even Bob Ehrlich, former governors who could run again. Larry Hogan won the governorship 10 years ago, running against increased taxes and fees. And that's exactly what's going on now. Again, Governor Moore has signed the largest tax increase in Maryland history last year. And I don't know how he's going to justify that to the Marylanders whose vote he's going to ask for next year.
Well, he'll justify it by smiling and being really happy and positive and knowing that he gets great press coverage. And we'll see if that works for him. Congressman Harris, have fun tonight. It's going to be a late one, but hopefully we'll reach a resolution here that helps all the people of this region. Thanks, Congressman.
I hope so. Thank you.
It is 8:43.
Making sense of your world.
Talk radio is where I get all of my information.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Your next $1,000 could be one text away. It's 5K a day on WMAL.
Julie Gunlock, there's a massive comet hurtling toward us, and it's much larger than previously thought. There's some speculation that it's actually not a comet, it's alien technology. But it's not actually aimed toward Earth. If anything, it's going to come very close to Jupiter and Mars. It's called 3I Atlas. It's the size of Manhattan, and it could be the end of the universe. Anyway, you ordered all these bananas, and I'm concerned.
Yeah. We keep referencing it through the show, so we'll just explain. You know how you use the apps where someone shops for you and then you pick it up? Well, I did that, and I ordered 6 bananas, and they decided that I actually ordered 6 bunches of bananas. So I have like 40 bananas in my kitchen right now, and I was too embarrassed to go back upstairs and tell them that I tried to pass it off like I needed 40 bananas. Anyway, there might be a potassium overload in the Gunlock family because I am determined to either use them or make banana bread.
Let's listen to
There you
Cut
go.
21 because I have good news for you. Your next governor, Abigail Spanberger, in one of her most hard-hitting interviews, has advice for you.
I'm very excited. I got your recipe for the banana bread. I'm just waiting for my bananas to ripen.
I always just wait for bananas to ripen, and then it's not like time for me to make banana bread. So then you peel them, freeze them, and then they actually get sweeter even once they freeze and then unfreeze. Yeah, I've got 8 versions.
Somewhere in there, I'm sure, is her opinion on girls being sexually assaulted in locker rooms or something. But
thank God we know. And also, by the way, you don't need to peel them. You don't need to peel them before you freeze them. Just stick them in there.
I love that that's what makes you angry.
Annoying.
My guess is, rather than listen to 4 years of Abigail Spanberger's voice and her policies and her opinions on banana bread, you would welcome the giant comet heading our way.
Can we redirect it?
I tied it all together. It's 8:53.